Be cautious now not to rely too much on Perry and think that he's going to be the difference. They have to play hard, similar to the way they did against Cincinnati.
Diener. Drew Diener against Travis Diener today.
And Marquette has gone into what appeared at first to be a matchup zone, really sagging and helping defensively.
A three try, spins out. Won't go for Drew Diener. 1 and out. That's the way it seems for St. Louis here early. Henry stepping up. Darte Blankson thought about it. Now in the half-court game, Cordell Henry will set it up for Marquette.
Bringing Wade off a misdirection. Oh, man. Nice crossover. Didn't get the jumper to go, but
didn't quite go, but a good attempt. And Perry back the other way for the Billikens.
And what makes this Marquette defense so tough is that they'll give you an outside jumper.
And that's an offensive foul on Jason Edwin. And we're talking about Edwin trying to step up and become more a part of the offense and assert himself a little bit more. He thought he had the opening, but was cut off nicely.
And that's a part of his game that he's got to improve on. He can really stand still and knock the jumper down, but he's not great yet off the dribble. But nice defensive play that time.
5 turnovers for St. Louis in the early going, 2 for Marquette. The Golden Eagles on offense leading 6-0.
And Marquette is not the team that you want to try to come from behind on. Very patient every offensive possession. And so they take the time off the clock, wear it down. As we see now, they're almost under 10 seconds in this possession.
Right now, 10 seconds on the shot clock with Henry penetrating and the running one-hander off the iron. And going for the rebound. A lot of contact inside and a Marquette foul.
That time we see Cordell Henry go off the high screen, gets into the paint and goes to his patented floater, which we saw 8 or 9 times last week, John. Just killed the DePaul defense on the interior.
Henry tried to get the ball back, committed his first foul, and now St. Louis on the attack. Sloan around to Randy Pulley. And a whistle off the ball. And that's against Odarte Blankson, his first foul.
As we watch St. Louis try to attack Marquette's defense, you have to have ball movement and body movement against their defense. You can't sit in and look for the first option. Marquette is too good defensively.
St. Louis has yet to score. Randy Pulley, freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, in, and here's Diener from the corner. He can't find the basket from three-point range, but nice inside play by Chris Brown keeps the offensive possession alive for the Billikens.
Now we look at Randy Pulley, who's in the ball game, true freshman here. He's not an outside shooter, more like Perry, who can penetrate and get his teammates involved.
Perry shooting a 3 attempt. Brown with the rebound, the putback won't go, and the rebound by Namaka of Marquette. Nice. Namaka out to Henry. Henry shooting for 3. Oh, he was on the line. They say he's on the line. That goes for 2.
St. Louis defensive breakdown that time. You always have to stop the ball in a fast break situation.
8-0 Marquette. I don't know about you, but it doesn't seem like an 8-0 game because of the good shots St. Louis has been able to get. So I know that the game seems to grow more tiresome when St. Louis can't get a shot down. And how about Perry trying to work back into the rhythm of the game? Diener has yet to hit a 3. He's missed 3 of those.
And that's really going to slow St. Louis down.
Henry. Another floater after penetrating. And a timeout taken. Cordell Henry has scored 4, so has Dwayne Wade. And 2 for Odarte Blankson. A 10-0 Marquette spurt. And a 30-second timeout taken by Lorenzo Romar and St. Louis University.
You know, Marquette is limiting St. Louis to only perimeter jump shots. And if Diener's not hitting the three-point shot, St. Louis will be in trouble this afternoon.
10-0 lead for Marquette at 12:38 left in the first half at the Savas Center in St. Louis. Marquette is 5 of 12 from the field. St. Louis has missed its first 7, and Drew Diener is 0 for 3 from behind the arc.
And when you're trying to come from behind, one thing that you have to do is get defensive stops. That will allow you to rebound the basketball and possibly push up for a fast break layup or a situation where Marquette's defense isn't set.
St. Louis with Randy Pulley in control of the offense. Marquette Perry's number 5.
You see that Travis Diener from Marquette is now in the ball game.
Number 10.
As his cousin Drew sat down.
And a steal for Marquette's Namaka. Oh, they have quick hands. There's Travis Diener feeding inside and scoring the basket for John Harris.
And John Harris had great low post position to be able to score.
And a layup by Marquette Perry breaks the scoring drought, with St. Louis going nearly 8 minutes without a point.
Marquette got a little frustrated there and said, hey, I'm going to get this shot down. Got all the way to the bucket. Blue pass Henry on the wing.
Ross Farner, number 25, also in defensively for St. Louis. Number 1 is Todd Townsend for Marquette. And Henry will reset the offense with 15 on the shot clock. But you're right, Stephen. Marquette works as much of the clock as possible. And Henry finds an opening right of the lane. He loves that spot.
He loves that spot. And any time that he gets into the paint, you have to pay attention to him. He's not one of those point guards that's looking to dish. He's looking to score.
Jason Edwin between the rings. Perry guarded by Henry. Perry gets a step. An open Edwin for a 3 try, and that's too strong.
Although that jumper didn't go down, that's what Edwin does best.
Henry shoots a 3 attempt, and that funnels in. That's 9 points for Cordell Henry. Coming off a 7-point game against TCU. However, he did have 9 assists against the Horned Frogs on Wednesday.
And you better believe Cordell Henry.
And Edwin is tied up here by Travis Diener.
Believe Henry.
And we have a local break, and we'll pick that thought up when we come back, Stephen. 17-2 Marquette, and you're watching Conference USA basketball from ESPN+. Welcome back to the Savas Center in St. Louis with Stephen Bardo. I'm John Rooney. It is a 17-2 Marquette lead over St. Louis University, and it has been the Cordell Henry show in the first half for Marquette.
Cordell's been extremely aggressive, and you see here he's coming down on the break, and they didn't pick him up for the 3, and he gets it to go. But as I was saying earlier, as we look at Cordell Henry, he and Marquette Perry know each other from high school in Chicago. Cordell Henry going to Whitney Young and Perry going to Prosser.
Let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock. The first half shooting, 8 for 15 for Marquette, 1 for 9 for the Billikens. Cordell Henry is 4 of 5, 9 points, including 1 3-point field goal.
Nice adjustment that time on the high screen and roll.
Sanders to Henry, tried to find Harris, and the ball just goes harmlessly out of bounds. Back to the Billikens.
Even though it was a turnover, St. Louis did a good job of taking the ball out of Cordell Henry's hands on the high pick and roll. You have to double team him, make him give it up to one of the players that doesn't have the hot hand like Cordell had.
Here's Perry. Foley all the way in, and he was contested. But Townsend got a hand on the ball, so St. Louis will have the ball with 19 on the shot clock. Wade in for Henry. Henry will get a breather, scoring 9 points and being so active on both ends of the floor. But how about Perry working back into the game after being out the last 3?
Yeah, he's really giving it up, and he's that type of player who will leave his heart and soul on the floor every night and trying to find a way to get his ball club back in the game. But he's got to be much more aggressive than he has early on to get St. Louis in this game.
Chris Brown, that's a mismatch with shorter Travis Diener. Perry with the jumper.
There you go. Got it to his sweet spot along the baseline. Knocked down a 12-foot jumper.
He needs just that much of an opening. Nice rotation. And Perry has scored all 4 Billiken points. Now Diener quickly into the lane. Sanders. Diener with the assist. Terry Sanders scores his first basket.
Diener, a solid guard for Marquette, comes in off the bench, and they don't lose much when he comes in the game for Henry.
But out of Travis, Drew, and Drake. Drake plays at DePaul. And many feel that Travis Diener is the best of the 3. They're all good. Brown blocked, contested by Townsend. And here comes Diener.
Pick the ball up. Good job that time by Tully.
Sanders moved the pivot foot. Oh, but there was an elbow involved and a foul call.
See here, Perry is working along the baseline. Tries to set a pick, and usually when the picker in the play is usually one that pops open. That's what happened that time with Perry.
First foul on John Harris, and it's the 4th team foul against Marquette in the first half with 9 minutes to go, and Marquette leading comfortably 19-14.
That's adjustment by St. Louis, getting Perry off the point guard to try and free him up.
And good defense again by Marquette, with Sanders coming down with the missed shot. Blankson on the other end, and a foul against Odarte. Blankson barreling in. And here is the Diener family. It's Diener Conference USA. Travis with Marquette, Drew with St. Louis, Drake with DePaul, and they can all shoot the three.
All can shoot the three, and Travis is one of the leaders in Conference USA in assist to turnover ratio. So this guy, Marquette is really looking for him to take it over when Cordell Henry leaves.
Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, the Dieners, and right there's Drew Diener, number 21 for St. Louis, and a reach in and a steal. Dwayne Wade creating that and finishing that.
Could have been a better pass. You might have seen a 180 or 360 out of Wade.
Still a pretty good show.
Oh yeah,
on both ends. A 21-4 lead for Marquette. Marquette trying to get something going for St. Louis. Diener has missed 3 three-point attempts.
Marquette is so fun to watch if you're a purist of the game, because they bring their lunch buckets to the gym every day.
Varner short on his attempt, out of bounds to Marquette. But when the shot goes up, Stephen, blue jerseys are around the end line, around the basket. And St. Louis has managed only a couple of putbacks so far in the first half.
That's right. Solid job defensively and on the defensive glass, controlling it, not letting Brown get involved on the glass at all.
And the Pelicans' attempts to score off missed shots have all failed, with Perry scoring on 2 jump shots. Wade penetrating and drawing contact. Dwayne Wade to the free throw line. Kenny Brown with his first foul.
And Drew Diener, that's a tough matchup for him to stay up with Dwayne Wade. Dwayne's just too athletic for him right now.
Yeah, we talked about Wade's scoring ability, but you just can't coach the quickness.
No, he's a natural.
And we have a timeout at 7:50 left in the first half. All Marquette so far from the Savage Center in St. Louis, leading 21-4 over the Pelicans. Marquette is shooting 59%, 1 for 1 from three-point range for Cordell Henry, and leading big here in the first half. Next Saturday, another chance to see the Marquette Golden Eagles. Number 5 Cincinnati and Steve Logan at Marquette at the Bradley Center, noon Eastern time, 11 Central. Stephen and I will be there for that one, and we're looking forward to it. Here's the alley-oop and the miss. The timing wasn't quite there for Dwayne Wade, and back come the Pelicans, down 21-4.
But you notice, John, whenever St. Louis gets the ball and they get a stop, they really should look to push it up the floor, because they're struggling.
A move, but he couldn't finish. Kenny Brown cleans the glass for St. Louis.
Boy, Dwayne Wade makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Fisher's open, and he drains a 3. Josh Fisher's first field goal, a 39% shooter behind the arc this season.
Fisher can fill it up. I've seen him take a few NBA threes this year and get them to go, so he's not afraid to pull the trigger.
21-7 is our score, Marquette.
This is the end of the floor that St. Louis has to make up their ground against Marquette. They have to get some stops and keep the hands out of the ball out of the hands of this young man right here, because he's making it happen.
Wade, Diener, Diggs, Sanders, and Harris on the floor for Marquette. Off-balance shot by Wade into the arms of Kenny Brown.
Great defense that time by Diener, forcing a tough shot by Wade.
Drew Diener now at the point, followed by David Diggs.
See how St. Louis doesn't rotate the ball quickly and allows Marquette to make the adjustment. They're looking for Kenny Brown down low.
There's the first 3 of the day for Drew Diener. But what Marquette is doing is just packing it back. St. Louis has been ineffective from three-point range until that three-point field goal by Drew Diener, who is right around 44% and among the conference leaders.
And see, the only problem, as we see here, Perry penetrates, lets up, and then goes to between his legs and draws the defense and kicks. That's what he brings to this St. Louis club. See from another angle here, draws the defense and kicks to an open Diener. But St. Louis, it's okay when you're hitting the threes, but if you're not hitting the threes,
it's a long day.
It's a long day, and you're not attacking the basket, so you don't put Marquette into foul trouble.
And Drew Diener is second in Conference USA in three-point field goal percentage, .437. Dominic Smith of Houston is first at 452. To get information on your favorite Conference USA team, go online at www.c-usasports.com for all the basketball and conference news from around Conference USA. Cordell Henry, 9 first-half points, and he will be our halftime player feature coming up on the American Century Halftime Report.
See Henry.
Oh, Wade looked like he wanted to go up with a shot and then had no one to dump the pass to. Chris Sloan was in the way.
See, Perry and Henry are battling that time. Henry grabbing Perry's jersey.
Brown forcing one up. And the volley. David Diggs for Marquette.
Diggs, another one of the players that come off the bench for Marquette. Very solid. Doesn't kill you with athleticism or beauty in the game, but gets it done.
Cordell Henry. And there's a turnover story so far. St. Louis with 8, Marquette. They're beginning to build a few at 5.
There we go again. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Diggs for 3. Ooh, David Diggs.
Diggs got the jumper to go. Nice job once again running the shot clock under 10 and getting the shot that they want. It's different when you have to put up a desperation shot. But Marquette is running the clock down and getting exactly the shot that they want.
Perry fanning it out. Fisher around to Diener from the baseline. And he drained that one.
Had the opportunity. 3. Who knocked it down.
David Diggs.
Slowly, St. Louis is creeping back into the game with solid defensive stops, just like.
A couple of trips down the floor defensively for St. Louis. Fisher all the way in, missed the layup. Brown, he was contested by Merritt. Sloan goes to tie it up. Boy, is he hustling.
That's what you have to have when you're trying to come back. It's all effort for Sloan this time. And here we look at the penetration by Perry, strong enough to fight off the defenders. Fisher has a shot, but defers to Diener, who drains the triple from the corner.
Would you like to see the jump ball back in basketball?
I'd love it, John.
Because that possession and the play was made by Chris Sloan, yet St. Louis has to play defense now. Now are they getting the possession arrow straightened out?
It's like it'll be St. Louis ball, but I know what you're saying, John.
Okay, it will be St. Louis ball.
But you don't want to penalize the defense for making a great play.
Diener between the rings. Number 4 is Josh Fisher. 24-13 Marquette lead.
See, St. Louis hasn't figured out this matchup zone. When you have a matchup zone, you have to penetrate, just like Perry did right there.
All the way in, but he couldn't score the layup. What a move to get open inside. And here's Diener for a 3 attempt. That's off to the right, follows his shot. Back out to Henry, and we have a foul call. And a hold against Josh Fisher. First foul on Josh Fisher. And we're under 4 minutes at 3:33 to go in the first half. 24-13. Marquette, the visiting team, is leading the Billikens 24-13 with 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. It's starting to pick up the pace of the game. St. Louis is getting some shots to fall, but a lot of hustle on the defensive end by Chris Sloan, I think, has provided a big spark for the Billikens in the first half.
And when you're digging from a deficit, you really have to just lay it on the line and get after it like Sloan is doing defensively right here. This is the type of effort that energizes your ball club and hopefully the home crowd to give St. Louis some energy to feed off of.
And this is a tough defense we were talking about very early in the first half from both sides. Diener penetrating. Harris around to Namaka. Roman Namaka has nothing, so Diener on the way from the free throw line with 4 seconds on the clock. Henry with the shot. And he had that one funnel out. Out of bounds, off Brown and St. Louis. It's Marquette's ball with a fresh 35-second shot clock. And at the half on the American Century halftime report, we have our news and notes from around Conference USA and a player spotlight, Marquette guard Cordell Henry. Plus the first half highlights and stats from the Savas Center in St. Louis on the American Century halftime report. Inside, and Namaka can't score the short basket. Henry He was on the line and shoots a 2.
Man, Cordell is feeling it. Trying to give it to his fellow Chicagoan, Perry. So you can't check me. Whitney Young is much better than Prosser High School.
Now Diener at the point. Josh Fisher. He's guarded by Travis Diener. Drew Diener out high.
See, you can hear Coach Romar mad at Diener because he didn't shoot the ball.
Perry is short on his attempt. Diener with the fadeaway.
Nice offensive rebound, and Diener putting it back in the hole. St. Louis has started out slow, but they're making a game of this, John. Slowly getting their way back in the game.
21-4. Not that long ago, Namaka has missed his last 2 attempts. And there's Drew Diener tracking it down for the Billikens in the front court.
See, St. Louis just doesn't have the athleticism nor the mentality to really take advantage of some of the loose balls they come up with.
An elbow, offensive foul, and Tom O'Neill saw that. Josh Fisher picks up his second personal foul. I can't lean in there and extend the arm and use the elbow.
And that's another great illustration of the complete ball player, as we see Cincinnati beating South Florida by 10. Well, you just saw last time, and then Louisville up 61-36 on DePaul.
And that's a 19-game winning streak, the longest in the nation for Cincinnati. And we'll see the Bearcats next weekend at Marquette.
That last play was a great illustration of the complete ball player that Dwayne Wade has become on both ends of the floor.
Henry all the way in, and he got the bounce off the rim. 13 for Cordell Henry in the first half.
And Cordell Henry is using Marquette Perry right now. Just abusing him every kind of way, from the outside to the inside.
You think the game is moving a little faster for Marquette after sitting out 3?
Yeah, I think so. And it's time, and it's going to take a while for him to get back into it.
Diener with the sidestep. Namaka cut him off. Sloan is in there and blocked by Harris. Oh, man. Back the other way, Henry. Shooting from the point. And he drains a 3-point basket. Oh, they gave him 2 on the line. But he's shooting from right at the point and quite accurate in the first half. 15 for Henry. 30-15. Marquette has doubled up the score. Diener from behind the arc. Sloan is covered along the lane, so around the Fisher. Marquette the matchup zone, 13 on the shot clock for the Billikens. This is Josh Fisher, a 3. That's a 3-point basket, his second of the first half. Coming down to the end of the first half. Under 5 seconds. Henry blocked by Sloan. Namaka, a 3-point try. It goes at the horn for Aluma Namaka. What a first half for the Marquette Golden Eagles after their 6th conference win in 7 games, leading the Billikens 33-18. Now let's take a look at the last shot. The time running down, and Henry from the double team. Namaka is open. He calmly, coolly hits the 3-point shot just beyond the line on the left wing, giving Marquette a 33-18 halftime advantage. Stephen Bardo is courtside with Coach Green.
Coach Romar, thanks for joining us at halftime. You inserted Marquette Perry a little bit earlier in the game. You guys were down early. You made a little run, and then Marquette eased out a little bit. What are you going to try to do in the second half to close the gap?
Well, we've got to do a better job of defending. We defended the last 6 minutes, 7 minutes better, but initially we didn't do a very good job, and they did a great job of guarding us in the first half. We've got to do a better job of getting quality shots and putting them in the basket.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, Steve.
Let me correct myself. Visit with Coach Lorenzo Romar, whose team put on a good spurt toward the end of the second half. But it was a 3 by Aluma Namaka that put Marquette up 33-18. The American Century halftime report, 33-18, Marquette leading at St. Louis. And let's take a look at the numbers from the first half, where St. Louis just had trouble buying a basket for about the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, 28% is really, they're fortunate to only be down 15 right now, shooting that poorly at home.
But St. Louis turning the ball over 9 times, leading to 10 Marquette points, 10-2 points off turnovers in favor of the Golden Eagles. And we're underway in the second half with Marquette on the attack to begin the second half, and a steal by Diener. Oh, nice balancing act at the baseline. And here come the Billikens with their first second half possession.
That's what Coach Romar spoke of at halftime, that they needed stops. to get back in this game. If they can establish themselves early, cut it to within single digits here in the first 5 minutes, they'll be in good shape.
Drew Diener scored 8 points in the first half. Josh Fisher had 2 3-point field goals. There's Drew Diener with the two-hand pass for Jason Edwin. Diener looking for something, and that something is Edwin out front. Brown with the bounce, and the ball squirts free. Edwin was inside, and a shot clock violation. In the scramble, wasn't enough time for St. Louis to get a shot away.
That time, good defense, but here we're looking at Diener. Nice denial, and then ooh, puts the hand down just before the baseline.
Missed it by that much. And now St. Louis on D again. As we played a minute in the second half with Marquette up 33-18. Henry spinning and throws it away. A nice pick by Chris Sloan. Sloan has had a pretty solid defensive game.
You see what St. Louis is doing, John. They're starting to pressure Henry more, but the offside defenders are sagging in the paint to try to provide help on the penetration. Nice defensive adjustment here in the second half by St. Louis.
Edwin. Beautiful. All net for Jason Edwin. That's his first field goal in the game.
Jason Edwin can pop it. He loves the corners on a three-point shot.
Henry for Illuminamica. Arte Blankson. Nice look by Wade, but it wouldn't go down for him. There's Josh Fisher.
And this is what we talked about they had to do.
Sloan running, and that's goaltending called. Goaltending with Wade getting back to defend.
And so now all of a sudden, you see the nice outlet pass. And Sloan goes with reckless abandon to the hole the way you have to go, and got the call.
And the ball was touched while over the cylinder. Langston feeding low for Wade. Sloan got a hand on it, and Henry has the save. Wayne Wade dumping it low, and he couldn't find Scott Merritt open. Out of bounds. It's Marquette's ball. With St. Louis trying to start something in transition.
But the Billikens are turning the pressure up defensively. Got the ball out. Got to Wade. Wade got the ball back. Tried to make a pass, and Brown stepped in and got another steal. Couldn't get the outlet on track, but good defense now.
And Stephen, that's the way Marquette was playing it in the first half. And an open Blankson scores his second field goal after hitting 23 points against St. Louis earlier this month in Milwaukee.
Nice set out of bounds play by Marquette, resulting in a layup. They do such a good job of setting screens for their teammates. Really lay wood on the guys trying to defend and free their men up.
Diener is being trailed by Dwayne Wade. Fisher with 8 on the shot clock.
They got to look inside.
Edwin from the corner, and that spins out. Brown was going for the loose ball, and he's called for the foul. Chris Brown's first in our game this afternoon in St. Louis.
Go back to the highlight. Langston received a back pick out of bounds play and resulting in a layup.
When you get that kind of help, just enough of an opening to score an easy inside basket. Henry all the way in, penetrating, and missed the layup attempt. Josh Fisher. Edwin in the front court.
Henry had an extra gear that time. Boy, he blew past Fisher like he was standing still.
He had to be thinking it can't be this easy. And missed the layup. Baseline jumper by Edwin Short. And Merritt had good position along the baseline.
If Jason Edwin's not hitting that jumper, they may want to look to go another place, because if he's not flowing, John, with that jumper, there's not much else he's going to provide for the ball club.
How about switching hands with a dribble and a layup for Dwayne Wade?
Dwayne Wade is one of those players that is moving full speed, but he looks effortless. And he is a natural on the ball floor, just very comfortable and stays within his game. Brown
from the point. Tries to follow the shot, and Diener is able to keep it alive. Drew Diener for St. Louis. Chris Brown from the high post.
See, St. Louis is so predictable in the half court that Marquette's able to take chances because they know what they're doing. And there's no improvisation or creativity on the part of St. Louis.
The shot clock is down to 10 now for the Billikens. Fisher. But he was contested at the end line by Blankson, and the foul goes against Sloan.
Nice sportsmanship that time by Sloan and Blankson. Got tangled up down there. Could have got nasty, but both guys did well.
We have a break at 15:41 left in the second half with Marquette rolling in St. Louis 37-23. And we'll be right back to the Savas Center after you watch these messages. Marquette 37, St. Louis 23. Conference USA basketball from the Savas Center in St. Louis. Now let's take a look at a Suzuki top performer. We're talking about Dwayne Wade of the Marquette Golden Eagles, averaging over 18 points a game, shooting just under 50%, and he also can make an assist, 4.2 a game. Very impressive young player, 7 rebounds. Find out who the top performers of the season are as Suzuki presents ESPN the Magazine's College Basketball Awards during Final Four week in Atlanta. And today Wade has scored 8 points. But the way he can dribble, left, right, he's here, he's there, he's open in the lane, and he was able to create a very easy lay-in for points 7 and 8 just a moment ago.
And can really jump over you or go around you. So a number of different things he can do in terms of getting his shot off.
Oak Lawn, Illinois. And this is Wade with the ball. All the way in. Short on his shot. Chris Brown for St. Louis.
And there have been some drives to the hole, but no calls. Boy, the referees
haven't had a free throw in this game.
They're letting them go at it.
We have not had one free throw attempt. Coming down to 15 minutes left in the second half. Jason Edwin with a pass to a cutting Perry out of bounds. I think Merritt got a hand on it, or Henry trailing. Knocked the ball out of bounds. It's out of bounds off Marquette. 17 on the shot clock for the Billikens.
St. Louis got within 10 points and let up a little bit. Their intensity has dropped somewhat right back in the ball game, but then you give a team like Marquette that opportunity, they'll take advantage of it.
Marquis Perry with Henry getting a hand on the ball. Sloan for 3, and that bounces out. Brown contesting, going for the loose ball, and there's Jason Edwin.
Good hustle that time on Brown. Keeping the ball alive and giving his teammates another opportunity.
Edwin spotting up for a 3. That one went down for him. He has 2 3-point field goals. 37-26. Marquette with the lead and the ball. Under 14.5 left in the second half.
Despite their ice cold shooting, they're right here in the ball game. And just a few stops on the defensive end. They'll be all right. Perry's got to stay low on Henry though. Right by him.
Henry all the way into the lane. David's wide open. That's the first field goal in the second half for Cordell. He has 17 points today.
I think the St. Louis defenders are coming out too far on Henry. He's extending the floor and using his quickness to get by every defender they've thrown at.
But if they adjust to that, Stephen, there's another option open for Henry. Long 3 attempt by Edwin. Dwayne Wade for Marquette. Behind the back that time, through the legs. Namaka at the point. Blankson blocked inside Edwin, and trailing the play, Chris Sloan.
Sloan once again, great help defender, coming over from behind and getting the block.
Saw their action in Conference USA. Cincinnati wins again, beating South Florida by 10. Louisville 93-60 in the second half against DePaul. Later on, East Carolina plays Charlotte. We have Memphis against Houston. Southern Miss and TCU in Conference USA. Tulane and UAB. Right here, St. Louis hosting Marquette. It's Marquette 39-26 over the Billikens. There's Diener. And that's a shot for 2.
Diener just solid that time. Penetrated, gave it up, got it back, and knocked it down.
First basket of the day for Travis Diener. He averages 8.1 a game.
Travis is guarding Drew. First time we've had this happen all game.
Brown from the point. Edwin just inside the free throw line, and Blankson tears it down for Marquette. Travis and Drew guarded each other, and Drew lost a step late in the second half in the game in Milwaukee, and Travis hit a key 3-point field goal, and Marquette didn't look back after that.
And boy, I tell you what, after the season's over, when the family gets together and talk.
and there's a little talk going on.
Oh, you know it is.
There's another offensive rebound. Blankson and The Marquette Golden Eagles, who lead 41-26. And St. Louis is trying to force the issue defensively. And that time, Perry was too close to Henry. I think they got a reach. Sloan is called for the reach in his second.
Now we see St. Louis coming back in the game with Kenny Brown. Like to see them post up, get some movement, and give him some room to operate on the block.
3 team fouls on St. Louis in the second half. And here's Travis Diener. Brown got a hand on it. Blanson inside his block. Here comes Perry for the Billikens. Leading the charge, Edwin scoring on the bank.
Nice floater by Edwin off the bank. I thought Perry gave it up premature. Edwin made a nice play.
41-28, Marquette with the lead on the ball. 12 minutes to go in the second half.
Stay down.
That time Perry anticipated the move by Henry, and St. Louis comes up with a steal. Drew Diener.
Good job that time by Perry. Staying low defensively against Henry.
Marquette's packing it back in the zone and then matching up.
See, they're looking to go inside, but Sanders, very good job that time.
There's a long shot that won't go for Marquis Perry.
Although it didn't go, that was a pretty good look by Perry. Had an open shot. You have to take those trying to get back in the game. Can't be tentative offensively if you're St. Louis.
St. Louis has missed a lot of good looks, a lot of good open shots today.
Typically, with a team like this, you don't see guys that shoot this poorly at home.
And the flurry, Bankson came away with the ball, and we have a timeout call. Timeout call by Marquette. Or was there a foul whistle? No, timeout for Marquette. And this is a full timeout with 10:59 left in the second half, and Marquette leading the Billikens 41-28. You're watching Conference USA basketball from ESPN+. Marquette leading St. Louis in Conference USA basketball from the Savas Center. And here's all the action inside. And St. Louis is doing its best to really pick up the defensive end and try to get back into this game. Edwin with the nice floating shot after Marquis Perry was able to trigger the break. But we have not had one free throw shot in this game. And 10:59 to go in the second half. Stephen, have you ever gone this deeply into a game or witnessed a game without a free throw to this point?
Never. And this is not, these guys aren't shooting all threes. There's some action, as we just saw, underneath the basket. Like that right there.
That was contested with Wade going in there, and with the loose ball, it's Chris Brown for St. Louis. I've been broadcasting basketball 30 years, 30 plus, and I haven't gone this deeply into a game without seeing at least one free throw attempted.
But you know what? The officials are keeping it consistent on both ends, because you don't see Romar or Crean really very demonstrative going at the officials. So,
and the players aren't going at each other after things are contested, but there's a collision, no foul call. Obviously no advantage gained, and with 5 on the shot clock, Edwin misses the baseline shot. Henry goes out of bounds, and this is a foul called against St. Louis. Second foul on Chris Brown. Oh, correction. Kenny Brown with the foul, his second. Conference USA action in St. Louis. Marquette 41, St. Louis 28. Just under 11 minutes, back 10-12 to go in the second half. And time now for a look at our Army of One, brought to you by the United States Army, featuring the Marquette Warriors of 1977, the national championship team. The final season for head coach Al McGuire, winning over North Carolina, and Butch Lee was the tournament MVP with 19 points in the championship game. And the new basketball facility they're building on campus of Marquette will sport Al McGuire's name. Al gave his consent to that. You know, Al, he's not looking for monuments or anything like that, or wasn't, and it's going to be a great tribute. And Sanders with the putback for Marquette as we get back to action. Just under 10 minutes to go in the game now.
And we are actually going to see a free throw attempt. Time Sanders got the offensive rebound and went up strong and drew the foul.
But to go 30 minutes and 2 seconds without seeing a free throw in playing time. Chris Brown with the foul, by the way, for St. Louis. 5 team fouls on St. Louis in the second half, Stephen.
Looks like Edwin had a problem with a contact or something. He was trying to get back in there. But yeah, that's got to be the longest I've ever seen game go this deep without a free throw attempt.
I agree with you.
Usually you might see guys squaring off throwing punches at this point, but both teams staying within themselves.
Terry Sanders, sophomore from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Sanders has 5. And the lead grows to 44-28 for Marquette.
St. Louis has really got to find a way to get Perry involved. You see Wade with the steal.
And the dunk. A basket and one with the foul. Wade to the line to attempt a three-point play. He's in double figures now with 10.
There's an illustration of what Dwayne Wade can do in the open court. Kind of blew past Edwin right at the last second.
And here's Edwin's second foul.
And exploded to the hole and still got it to go after getting hit on the shoulder.
Just got him on the shoulder.
Yeah, and this
all it takes.
Dwayne Wade is a special ball player. He will be in the record books before he leaves Conference USA. Believe that.
Three-point play for Dwayne Wade. Give him 11 today. St. Louis trails 47-28. Let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock. Our free throws. Marquette 2 for 2. St. Louis hasn't attempted one. And on the other end, the St. Louis marquee scores. Perry has 6.
Nice job, but that's what St. Louis needs to do. They might want to run Perry from offside to strong side ball. Get the ball and go one-on-one. Maybe clear out a side for him to go one-on-one like they did the last time. Because they have to generate offense, they have to do it quickly.
Travis Diener put Perry on the line attempting a three-point play, and the tip won't go once. Brown tries it and can't score. Dwayne Wade, St. Louis has missed its only free throw attempt of the day.
It looks as though from the way St. Louis is shooting the ball, it's just one of those days where shots aren't falling. They're giving up the effort. Brown that time had a tip-in attempt, just didn't go down for him.
But this is Marquette's game in the half court. Working time off the shot clock, 10. Harris penetrating, looking for Sanders inside, and back out to Diener with 5 on the shot clock. Wade inside the three-point line. Crashing the boards, Blankson around to Sanders and out to Diener. Darte Blankson right in front of Coach Green.
And once again, like we talked about, Marquette being a difficult team to come from behind against, because once again they'll take the time off the clock and get the shot they want.
15 on the shot clock with Harris going to the lane and missing off the back iron. There's the volley for the loose ball, and it belongs to Kenny Brown of St. Louis.
Nice pass up the floor to Diener, but didn't take the shot.
Perry hounded in a double team. Doesn't turn it over. Jason Edwin from the three-point line.
When you have a team like St. Louis that's not athletic, you got to find other ways to score.
Rebound by Travis Diener of Marquette. He'll bring the ball up the floor. Under 8 minutes to go in the second half.
And what's Diener do? Looks for the first opening. If it's not there, pulls it back out and they run their offense.
Johnson from the high post. He's going to take a try, a shot, and gets fouled. As Kenny Brown was stepping up. Third foul on Kenny Brown. Junior college transfer from Iowa Western Community College.
So
from around the top 25 today, Texas Tech beating Oklahoma 92-79 after Oklahoma won big over Missouri, and Indiana defeated Illinois 88-57. What happened, Stephen?
I have no idea. Boy.
Arkansas and Florida going at it. Connecticut, Arizona in overtime. Connecticut by 1. Here it's 47-30 in favor of Marquette.
When you think that Marquette may let down when Diener comes in the game, Travis Diener, they stem the tide and keep the momentum going, and now you have Cordell Henry right back in the ball game.
After the Blankson free throw, it's 48-30 Marquette. 7:45 left in the second half. You're watching Conference USA basketball from ESPN+. The Travis Center in St. Louis with Stephen Bardo. I'm John Rooney in Conference USA action with St. Louis hosting Marquette. And Marquette coming in here for a 48-30 lead at 7:45 to go in the second half. Out rebounding St. Louis 33-21 today. And how about the points in the lane, in the paint? Marquette has dominated 26-4, taking advantage of many of those rebounds.
And you're talking about the rebounds, and when you look at the points in the paint, John, typically that's the work of the big men. But Wade and Henry from Marquette have really contributed to that number this afternoon by their penetration.
And both in double figures. Wade at 11 points. Cordell Henry at double figures with 15 in the first half and has 17 overall. St. Louis with the ball after the timeout, coming down to 7.5 minutes left in the game. Number one is Randy Pope.
Looking now at St. Louis attack. They're second in the league in three-point shooting, but if their threes aren't going, there's not many other ways that they can really get back in the game quickly.
Well, a foul call on John Harris, his second foul. Next Saturday, we have TCU playing Memphis. 1 Frogs against the Tigers, 2 Eastern, 1 Central. Billy Tubbs' team against John Calipari's Memphis Tigers. Wagner, what a great addition to the conference he has been. I'm looking forward to seeing him play in person.
That young man can get it done, boy. He knows where the bucket is at all times, has a nose for the ball, and really gets it done on the offensive end.
You and I have a Houston game at Memphis later on the schedule. Really looking forward to that. But TCU and Memphis coming up next week as part of another doubleheader Conference USA action from ESPN+.
I think there'll be a few points scored between those two teams.
Just a couple. Out of bounds. And with 19 on the shot clock, St. Louis will play it in. 7:06 to go in the game.
And Perry has been really quiet this half.
A long lob to the backcourt for Randy Pulley, a freshman, true freshman out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Garner off the backboard to Cordell Henry. And Henry will pull it back out, eat up some of the clock. With a comfortable 48-30 lead for the Golden Eagles.
And we're looking at Marquette right now, just really.
Nice hands by Barner. Sloan going to the floor, and it's tied up. The possession arrow favors St. Louis.
Well, when you look at Marquette and the style of ball that they play, they have great guard play. They have big men inside that are physical, can get it done. These are the ingredients of a team that can go very deep in the NCAA tournament.
And can go very deep to the bench. Townsend has been in the game today. Travis Diener off the bench. David Diggs, John Harris, Terry Sanders. Ron Howard didn't play Tuesday against TCU Wednesday. Hasn't played today, but he sees some playing time. And here's Wade. Bring it right back out for Cordell Henry. But Marquette play a solid defense.
And tremendous anticipation that time by Dwayne Wade. He's done that 3 times this afternoon. Anticipated the pass, gotten his hand on the ball, and came up with the steal.
So you're talking about the offensive sets for St. Louis, or even getting into a running game. Well, Marquette has built a big enough lead to go ahead and take some chances.
That's right. You have to double team Henry right there.
Henry shooting for 3. He missed one. How about that? And there is Chris Brown.
You have to force the ball out of his hands when in that pick and roll situation.
All the way in for a nice bank shot by Randy Pulley, his first field goal. 48-32, under 6 minutes to go in the second half in St. Louis.
Pulley's showing his ability to get inside of the defense. He needs to be more aggressive here with a little bit more than 5 minutes left.
And a 5-second call. Cordell Henry was contested. The defense is rewarded, and St. Louis takes over on offense.
And without Perry in the ball game, they've got Fisher and Edwin on the wings that can shoot the ball, but someone that needs to break down, draw some defense, and kick out to the shooter.
All the way in, and he lost that one. Out of bounds. Touched by, out of bounds off St. Louis. For a moment, I thought it was touched by one of the Golden Eagles along the baseline. That's not so, and Namaka with the inbounds to Henry.
See Perry on the bench, looking rather dejected.
That's tough to be gone for 3 games and step right in against a team Marquette with 16 wins, 5 of those in the league, a 5-game winning streak. The tip attempt, and will it count? Going up strong, Odarte Blankson. And they wave off the basket.
And you see Coach Crean from Marquette applauding the effort by Blankson. picked up the foul, but that's the effort you want to see, crashing the offensive boards, trying to keep the ball alive.
Third foul for Blankson. 48-32 Marquette.
Boy, St. Louis usually has a good home crowd that's into it, that propels their team on a victory in most of their games, but boy, they're really quiet now.
Off the steal, watch Wade. Showtime. Woo. 13 for Dwayne Wade.
Thought he was going to give it up to Blankson, but chose to go to the hop stop up with the layup. Boy, this guy has got the total package in his game. Not much he can't do on the floor. If there is, I haven't seen it yet.
What an impressive showing today with 13 points. Last Saturday, 32 minutes. Had a big game against Tipoff. 13 for 18 from the field. For three. Too long to Josh Fisher. Edwin with the putback. And the rebound for Lumanamica.
Boy, it's just one of those days for St. Louis. The effort is there. I mean, they're playing hard. Some days the shots don't fall for you. It just looks so bad when you're playing against Marquette.
A layup with the left hand for Namaka. His first field goal of the second half, give him 5 overall. He hit a shot to end the first half.
And did you see Namaka navigate through the defense that time? A big man being able to drive off the wing around a couple defenders.
He's showing his quickness. Sloan backing in against Namaka. Blocked from behind by Dwayne Wade.
We said early in the game, Wade is going to be where the ball is. Man has a nose for the ball and just a savvy way about him.
Henry taking fully inside. Wade with the spin, but he walked with the ball. As we go on a break with 3:07 left in the second half. Loma Namaka hit a 3 to end the first half. Has a field goal in the second half and has been fun to watch today, right along with the Marquette Golden Eagles who lead in St. Louis. Our score 52-32. Marquette rolling along in St. Louis, and watch Dwayne Wade, the sophomore from Oakland, Illinois, number 3 for the Marquette Golden Eagles.
Makes the steal. Has a 2-on-1. Looks like he might give it to Blankson, but no, decides to slice past Edwin for the beautiful move.
He has scored in double figures all but one game, and that was the St. Louis game in Milwaukee. They were able to hold him down, but today Wade has scored 13. Cordell Henry has had a good game. Blankson had 23 points in the win over St. Louis at Milwaukee. Today he has scored 5. But St. Louis just hasn't been able to get into any kind of rhythm or roll on offense. John Seifert, number 31, in for St. Louis. Brown out to Perry, around to Fisher. Fisher got a wide open 3. He has 3 3-point field goals today.
That was nice inside-out work that time by St. Louis. Actually went to the post one of the few times in the ball game. They had the Marquette double team, kicked the ball out, swung it around the perimeter, and found the open Fisher.
Wade to Merritt, blocked in the foul on Drew Diener. The first on Drew Diener. And 2 free throws coming up with just over 2.5 minutes to go, second half. Conference USA action. Marquette 52, St. Louis 35.
And Marquette showing the ability to play in a couple different styles in terms of up tempo and slow down game like we have today.
Scott Merritt's season points and rebounds. Merritt's first point comes with 2:35 left in the second half. Ron Howard, number 30, in for Diener. Ron Howard, a 6'5" freshman, 170 pounds, Whitney Young High School in Chicago. One more free throw for the sophomore from Wauwatosa, East High School. Scott Merritt, 1 for 2 from the line. And Seifert rebounds for the Billikens.
Now you have to come down. Perry's in the game. You have to come down and go immediately into what you're doing. They're still running their sets, but a couple guys have to break the play and go one-on-one to see if they can create something quickly.
Brown with the drop step, and the tip in goes for Seifert.
Nice job that time, Brown. Aggressive move on the interior, and Seifert with the tap in, but now they have to start taking chances. I don't know if they can stay head up man-to-man, John. They may want to double team some guys and try to force some turnovers. Under
2 minutes left in the second half. Howard will give it up to Cordell Henry, senior from Whitney Young High School. The baseline jumper by Namaka. Give him 7 today. 55-37 Marquette.
Nice connection once again between Henry and Namaka.
Merritt with the foul inside, contesting Seifert's field goal attempt. Seifert to shoot 2, and for Merritt, that's his first foul.
On the last play, you see once again the shot clock running down. Henry blows by the defender. Namaka spaces out, uses the floor to space out away from his defender. Gets the pass and knocks the jumper down. Just textbook execution in the half-court set this afternoon by the Marquette Golden Eagles.
Let's take a look at the American Century on-the-money player of the game. And today it's Cordell Henry, senior guard for Marquette. As Henry is going over to the bench right now. Cordell with 17 points. He had 15 of those in the first half. 17 right now. Diggs with the rebound from the Seifert miss. And number 10 is Travis Diener.
And what you're looking for right now, if you're Coach Romar for St. Louis, you just want your guys to finish out the game strong. Don't give up. Play solidly, but do not give up.
Coming down to 1 minute left in the game. Sanders can't hold on to the pass at the high post and snaps the ball like a football center to Chris Brown.
And Lorenzo over there on the sidelines got that look on his face like he just knew it wasn't our afternoon. And sometimes that happens.
The tip attempt won't go for Brown. Seifert got a hand on the ball, so did Sanders, and Josh Fisher tries to come away from traffic. He's fouled. Again, our American Century on-the-money player of the game, Cordell Henry. Henry, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. There he is.
He got a lot of those points in the first half when they established this big lead, John. Just hit from the outside, drove to the paint, and really got it done early for Marquette.
He's our American Century on-the-money player of the game today, with Marquette leading 55-38. 3 attempts won't go down for Perry, and Diggs rebound. David Diggs, senior from Dayton. Travis Diener, freshman from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
Got a feel for Marquette Perry. I know he wanted to come back this afternoon and help his team try to compete against this really good Marquette club. Struggled in his return.
Seifert to Chris Brown and throws it away in the backcourt to David Diggs. 5 seconds, and Diener runs out the clock for Marquette as the Golden Eagles win on the road for the 3rd time this season to go 3-3 in road games. They are 17-3 overall, 6-1 in Conference USA. St. Louis drops to 9-11, 3-4 in Conference USA, and this has been a tough place to win coming into play. St. Louis in the Savas Center, yet the last 2 home games have resulted in losses. Cincinnati earlier this week, and Marquette winning convincingly today, 55-38. We're going to be having some interviews with some of the participants in today's game coming up after we have a break. A 55-38 victory for Marquette over the Billikens. Stay with us. Our post-game show is straight ahead from the Savas Center.